How do you handle a crisis? The only way that you are going to handle a crisis is to go through crises. It's a tough rule, isn't it? You got to go through to get to, but it's so true. And in retrospect, Brian Chesky is grateful that Airbnb was born in a crisis. See, today Airbnb is both a noun and a verb, right? We use it simultaneously. Look, we're going out of town this weekend. We're heading to Houston this weekend. Let's just Airbnb it. It's a verb now. And it's just a common way of life. But if you think back, I don't know, a decade ago, it would sound like probably one of the craziest ideas ever. Imagine if Chesky was your buddy and y'all sitting there drinking a beer and he walks up and says, "Bro, I got a business idea for you." All right, what you got? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you could rent out a room or a fully furnished house to others and make money. To random strangers. Dude, you think the guy was crazy. So Airbnb and Chesky's idea was like the worst, best idea ever. It started off as the worst idea. As a matter of fact, investors just ran from him. Chesky and his cohorts, they would max out credit cards just to keep the business afloat. And for 10 years, they got at it. 10 years, man, they were scrappy. And it seemed like it all paid off because they were just at the doorstep of making it big. Airbnb had a $40 billion valuation with a B. So Chesky's entire life, he's about to become major wealthy. Airbnb had a $40 billion valuation. And right when they were set to go public, the pandemic hit. And 80% of Airbnb's business was completely wiped out. And Chesky said, truthfully, I didn't know if we were going to be around to service the other 20%. And even though the pandemic was unpredictable, no one could have predicted this. And even though Chesky and everybody else, for that matter, was largely unprepared, nobody could have predicted this. Nobody was prepared for a pandemic. But he was battle tested. And Chesky realized that he had an advantage over other CEOs that were in the travel industry. See, Airbnb had been born in a crisis. Chesky was with him at birth. He pulled it out of the ashes. Worst idea. For 10 years, he tinkered, he dabbled, he doodled, he scrapped, he scraped, he maxed. He did all that. So for 10 years, he had been battle tested. Every day was a battle. So he had an advantage over the other CEOs because most CEOs, they just become CEOs. Here's the resume. You're hired for the CEO. When it doesn't work, like most times, CEOs come and go. 3 to 5 years, they're out of there. They're on to the next show. And Chesky said, I knew I had an advantage over others in the travel industry because I'd been battle tested. I had some ideas on how to lead not only myself, but how to lead others through a crisis. And it makes you think, man, for all the crises that you've been through in your life, as distasteful, as hurtful, as dark as they were, on the other side of it, you really have to say to life, thank you. Thank you for all the crises. Because for every crisis that you go through, you're battle tested and you're equipped to handle more crises as your life evolves and you move ahead. So when you're in a crisis, remember Chesky's 4 rules. Be decisive, be principally oriented, communicate often, and manage your own psychology.